Okay, here we go. First and foremost, I really appreciate you guys joining us. I am a MAPS coach and have a group course that we are in our third launch with MAPS and would love you guys to participate. It is 12-week course that has to do with pre-foreclosures and foreclosures and everything in between. And I'll dive into that a little bit more. However, I personally want to share a little bit with you about myself so you can understand who I am and I'd say almost validity, what I've been through, and that the things that I'm teaching you are things that I have personally learned in my own business, and I've applied them into my business over the last 15 plus years. So first and foremost, I'm Christina Griffin. I am a team leader of the Griffin Group in Florida. We cover all of middle Florida, from I'd say Tampa area, even as far as Orlando, the whole middle of the state. And in a nutshell, and this is not the time for me to share fully my story, but I believe just sharing a little bit about who I am is always important. If you guys would like to hear more of my story, I was on stage with Gary a few years ago and it's on KW Connect. So first and foremost, I am a survivor, and I'm a survivor of abuse, cancer, divorce. My mom, dad, and sister died all 9 years apart. I got into real estate because my mother passed away when I was my dad passed away when I was 18 years old. And I was given the option to take custody of my sister. And my sister was 2 years younger than me. I had a full scholarship ride to one of our large Florida colleges and instead went straight into real estate to take custody of her. When I was 18 years old, I managed large apartment communities. And when I was 21 years old, I got my real estate license. At 21 years old, I was putting investors on buses and filling the bus and going and looking at distressed real estate with general contractors, and would walk away with multiple contracts. I learned that because the first real estate company I started working with was a small investment firm. Now, what I would tell you about me, and a lot of you are in different circumstances right now, this pandemic is like nothing we ever thought would ever occur. And it's not over yet. Many people have asked why you are in distressed real estate. That is my foundation when I started. I personally love analyzing data, analyzing properties, and helping people create wealth. However, I have a passion for helping the local community because people that are going through and losing their homes, they are in so many different circumstances and they don't know the options available to them. So coming from a servant's heart is something that I love, and that's allowed me to grow my team as well. So myself personally, many people have asked how I've overcame so many different things and continued to keep going. It's because my why has always been bigger than the problem. And my why first was my sister, then it was my children and my family. So when I joined Keller Williams, and this is actually 3 years ago today, I joined Keller Williams about a week before I had gastric sleeve surgery, and I've lost over 200 pounds. I actually had cancer, the same one my mother died of, and I beat the cancer and was able to overcome the health issues and have my miracle child. I've lost everything and rebuilt. I'm very happily married, and I'm a mom of three amazing, incredible kids. COVID and this time, I will tell you, has truly allowed me to get stronger in my faith. And you can look us up on Zillow, or unfortunately, I know a lot of you, there's a lot of buzz around Zillow right now, but you can see that we have sold over 4,000 homes. Our team covers all of mid-Florida. And I always say I'm a contributor, a survivor, and an overcomer. So that's a little bit about me. Now, if you'd like to learn more about our group coaching program, go to MAPS Coaching, and under group coaching programs, you're going to see all of the details that are on your screen. What I will tell you is you get me wholeheartedly, my heart. I'm going to teach you everything that you need to be effective, from if you'd like to be a community expert and work within short sales, if you'd like to list and sell bank foreclosures, or if you would just like to learn how to create an additional revenue and have a BPO business or work with investors. So it's 12 1-hour webinars, full content. We have a highly interactive Facebook group. And after that, I jump into the Facebook group and answer questions. And I do tons of walkthroughs, tons of videos for you guys. Many of you have resources in your multiple listing you don't even know are available to you that will allow you to help build your business. Things like Remind, Realist, and I do walkthroughs in the Facebook group to show you how to do that, as well as a lot of other different resources. Just a little bit about MAPS Coaching. If you guys would like to learn more, email tom.foster@kw.com. MAPS Coaching has changed my entire world. Being a coach is one of the things I love waking up and doing each and every day, but MAPS Coaching is an incredible community. Now, if you do not have a coach, a great place to start is one of our group coaching programs. And there's a ton of free trainings I highly recommend you take a look at. I actually personally have several I'm doing in the next few months. Okay, so let's dive into the content. So here we go. So loan delinquencies, and I'm going to share the website. This is something that I highly recommend you guys check often. Black Knight gives you the data that you need to stay on top of what's happening with the mortgage delinquencies in the mortgage world. So I'm just going to touch on the bottom numbers and the number of properties that are 30 or more days past due, but not in foreclosures, over 3.3 million. Number of properties that are 90 or more past due, but not in foreclosure, are 2.19 million. And number of properties in foreclosure that I call pre-sale inventory, bank-owned properties. You may have heard the term shadow inventory. Those properties that are foreclosures that haven't been listed yet, there's over 176,000. Number of properties that are 30 or more days past due or in foreclosure are 3.5 million. These are a lot of homes. There's a lot of homes that we do not even know yet because a lot of the forbearance agreements and a lot of the moratoriums are going to expire in the next few weeks, and we're going to have more visibility. However, this is quite a bit, and you can see here year over year change that it's gone up and it's going to continue to go up. We have a decline in inventory. Everyone says there's not enough properties on the market. However, the increase in notice of defaults are the highest that it's been in over 10 years. So I'm going to dive in just a little bit of the basics, and I'm going to give you guys some actionable things that you can walk away and implement into your business. Introduction to pre-foreclosures. So that means that there's 3 consecutive months of failed payments. Agents can educate homeowners about their options. Homeowners may already be in forbearance. Sale price in pre-foreclosure stage may be higher than the price of the foreclosed property, and the stage of pre-foreclosure ends with notice of default. So I want you to understand, everyone that's in forbearance right now, if they default on that forbearance agreement, they are going to immediately be put into notice of default. I want you guys, there are 2 systems I use that are realtor friendly. There's LandVoice and RedX. RedX is wonderful because they actually have an option in there that you can add numbers and it scrubs the do not call every day. I would recommend you to reach out and ask how many notice of defaults in your county that you cover have came into their system in the last 30, 60, or 90 days. In Florida, we're getting over 100 a week. And those agreements and those notice of defaults are going to continue to increase. And the cool thing with our course is we show you how to properly do a short sale from start to finish, letters to send, flyers, door hangers, what to say and how to say it. But that is one assignment if you would like to know what's happening in your state that I would highly recommend you look at. But I'm going to show you another cool tool that's going to show you how many houses have a foreclosure sale date on them. Okay, and I'm going to pause to be able to answer questions as soon as I get through just a few more of these slides. What does pre-foreclosure mean for sellers? So the sellers have an option to potentially reverse the default status, sell at market value to settle debts. They can request a forbearance. Some sellers don't have a forbearance currently going on. They may have opted out, but they still can ask for a forbearance. Now, I want you to understand forbearance does not mean forgiveness. If they owe $200,000 on their home and they haven't made a mortgage payment in 12 months and their mortgage payment is $2,000, 200,000 plus 24,000 in past due mortgage payments, it's going to be added to the balance that they owe on the property. So that would be $224,000 that they owe on the property. Many people say it's not going to be like 2008 because equity position is different. But I want you to understand those mortgage payments they're not paying is still going to go onto the balance. So in many cases, if they haven't paid a mortgage payment, it's going to get added to the balance plus closing costs and commission, and there goes their equity. Our job as agents is to become a community expert to educate them on their options so they can get out of the house and they can sell it if they cannot pay their past due forbearance agreement so it doesn't hurt their credit. They have to sell the home and they can buy a new home. Many sellers are going to have to do that because they do not have the funds to come up with the forbearance requirement. So they can sell as a short sale. The cool thing is, I'm not sure if any of you do have experience with short sales. Short sales, when I started them, they used to be, we call them long sales. Now we're doing short sales in 2 to 3 weeks. So I teach you how to do that, the entire process, or they can go into foreclosure, and a lot of sellers ride it out to the very end. So I don't recommend that because that's gonna really hurt their credit and it's gonna impact their credit. Okay. So finding pre-foreclosures. My favorite way, I'll be honest with you, is the clerk of the court and buying list. The reason why I like list is I like to be systemized. So notice of default list, public notice of auction, county clerk at the county recorder's office, paid list. And I'm going to show you an example of one I use. And sites like auction.com, local newspapers, online, delinquent tax lists are actually a really great one as well. And your county will provide that to you, and local county tax lists and tax deed sales. So we go through in our course about 40 plus different ways to be able to find distressed properties, from abandoned homes. I teach you how to do that, condemn, probate, divorce, lots of different things. But I'm going to show you, I'm going to screen share and I'm going to show you something that is super helpful. Okay, so I'm going to go to auction.com. So I want you guys to check that out. So auction.com is an amazing website. I personally have listed on the bank side hundreds of homes. Many of the top banks in the country, they list their homes there. Now I'm going to just go with your state. I'm going to show you. All right, so Pennsylvania. Now I'm going to drop down to asset type, and I'm going to click foreclosure homes. So in the state of Pennsylvania, you have 1,261 properties that are already slotted with a foreclosure sale date. Okay. Do you guys have a city or a county I can check for you? Do you want me to just check Harrisburg? I think that's what you guys are. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, cool. All right. So this does a 25-mile radius. So you guys have, and you know, being in Florida, we can sell anywhere in Florida. You guys can also sell anywhere, or you refer. Are you guys on any type of stay-at-home orders, or is everything open right now?
We're open right now.
Awesome. I spoke for California yesterday and they are not. They are in their homes. So 25 properties in Harrisburg. So I want you to understand there are two different ways to look at foreclosures. So, and I always compare it to a divorce. When you're served divorce papers, you've got the very beginning. Your emotion and your level and what's happening here is very different. And then you have when the divorce is final. This is like a final divorce. There is a date that is set that they are going to lose their home and it's going to go up for foreclosure auction. If I were you guys, I would each and every one of you, however you prospect, all of these homes have foreclosure sale dates set. People that are going to lose their home, and you can even expand. So 66 properties near Harrisburg. So depending on what areas you cover, what your MLS covers, there are many ways that you can reach out to this set of potential clients that need an option. Most of them are going to need a place to rent. You can help them with credit repair. You may be able to bring an investor in. This is something that I teach you how to do. We go through this in week 1 and 2. And week 3 is short sales. Now, right now, my course doesn't start till March 9th. You can still start working on this. You can pull these addresses. You can go door to door safely. You can put a flyer out. You can say, please call me. I would love to help and provide options. You can look up their phone number, make sure it scrubs the do not call. And you can say, if you were offered the right price for your home, would you be willing to sell? There are simple scripts that you can have conversations. However, you have 66 properties near Harrisburg that have foreclosure sale dates right now. Now, when all of the moratoriums lift, that's going to continue to grow, and it's going to continue to grow drastically. We, as a team, we send yellow letters and we do door to door. Now we do, and I call it ding dong ditch because of COVID. We put something on their door and we send them a letter in the mail and we call them. Now, when they're getting ready to lose their home, I want you to understand. Now, obviously, the ones that are losing their home on January 21st, there's not enough time to do a short sale. However, the ones that are losing their home on the 5th or the 10th or the 8th, there's enough time to do a short sale. So short sales happen very quickly if the seller is willing to do the things that they need. Now I'm going to show you a few things that's going to help you with that conversation. And we do teach the entire process. And I'm going to open it up. I'm just buzzing through a few things to give you some clarity on what the opportunity is. And then I'm going to open it up for questions. Now, I want you to understand there are over 40 million Americans that are facing eviction currently. Now, there is a certain where Biden has him coming into office. He has said that he wants to extend that to September. This is not official yet, but what I want you to understand, it is important to know that there are 40 million plus Americans that potentially could face eviction. Well, you have a lot of absentee owners. You have a lot of non-owner occupants that have rental properties. That is the second thing I would go after if you're looking for opportunity now. You have investors that more than likely do not want to be landlords anymore. And that is a conversation for them, is to find that cash buyer that you potentially they deal with the eviction, or you learn what cash for keys is. And I'm going to show you what that is. And you're going to help that tenant that's not paying get out of the home, and you can sell that property, or you sell the asset, even if the people are paying or not. Right now is a time that a lot of smaller investors are liquidating their properties because they do not want to deal with the eviction rules anymore. Okay. Now, FHA, and Freddie Mac have extended the moratorium on their properties until the end of February. Now, many of the moratoriums are lifting at the end of January, and many of them have already lifted on private backed mortgages. So I teach you how to be able to stay on top of it and how to be able to educate your clients in a really big way. This is definitely going to be a pre-foreclosure market, and it's important to understand how to navigate. And not everything is going to be a short sale. But it's an opportunity for you to become the community expert and really truly discuss with the people in your community, in your world, the best way to be able to navigate their situation. So our job should be to have a servant's heart and really truly be able to know what options are available for everyone that we work with. So one thing I want you to understand is there's something called cash for keys. Thousands of dollars that banks or people that own the mortgage, which are, it could be a private back lender, or it could be Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, they will pay whoever is living in the home several $1,000s to leave the home. They'll do it in a short sale. They'll do it when the property gets foreclosed on. As an REO agent, I have multiple scheduled in the next few weeks where I was able to negotiate with the person living there that they're going to leave the home, and the bank and the entity that owns the mortgage is going to give them several $1,000s to move, take all of their belongings. Now, as a short sale, if it qualifies for a short sale, and what that means is they have to have very limited equity on the home, which is no equity once the closing costs and commission and everything gets settled. But many people are worried about that next step. I don't have money to move. So the bank will give them, and that's part of negotiating the short sale. I teach you several $1,000s. But I want you to think of something on opportunity. You've got a lot of absentee owners in your state. You have a lot of people that own rental properties. If they have non-performing assets, they have renters in those properties, you can easily present to them that I'm going to put a notice on the door to your tenant not paying, tell them that they potentially can get cash to move, and then therefore you don't have to deal with the eviction rules and regulations. And your client has an asset that they can sell and they can maximize their return on investment. Many investors across the country are doing that. Instead of waiting for the evictions to happen, they're saying, you know what, listen, I understand you lost your job. I completely get it. I will let you out of your lease, and I'll give you your security deposit back, and I'll give you a few $1,000s to be able to move. Your investor can count that as a loss. However, that's a way to be able to work with absentee owners and set yourself apart. Now, just a few prospecting approaches, and in our course, we teach you, I give you examples of all of these, but different prospecting that you can think of is pick up the phone, obviously. Make sure you scrub the do not call. Write handwritten letters. That is my absolute favorite. Many people that are in distress, they're not checking the phone. They're not checking the voicemails. They're not answering the phone. So when you write a letter, or Google yellow letter, and I give you examples through our course on different letters that have worked for me that you can use. But a yellow letter looks like a handwritten letter, and you can send them out to Singularly or a lot of people. All of your budgets are going to be different. So I teach you different ways to be able to market on this much budget or a bigger budget. So you can write handwritten letters. We do send out cards to people that are in foreclosure or expireds. You can also do door hangers, and we give you examples of those, but a great door hanger that has them call you that you have options available will be, it's a great return for us. We pulled out of doing a lot of online advertising, and I have a full-time runner that puts hundreds of door hangers and letters on doors each and every week. Pot buys. A $5 pizza, believe it or not, put on their doorstep, knocking on their door, it will always have someone call you back. People that are getting ready to lose their home in a few weeks, if you're wanting to set yourself apart, it could be a candy bar in a bag with "please call me." You don't even have to say why to call me, please call me. Many people will call you and they'll pick up the phone, and I teach you strategies, as well as make sure to long-term nurture them. You guys are going to have a lot of notice of defaults, and I teach you how to be able to look at your farm in a different way. People that their forbearance agreement, they could not fulfill that, or maybe they're in a forbearance agreement. You talk to them in the beginning. you need to nurture them till the end, because there could be an emotion level, or they could not be ready to move, and maybe they have 6 months. So make sure to nurture the people that you speak to. Learn what to say, how to say it. And again, my favorite script is, if you were offered the right price for your house, would you be willing to sell? That's an easy one, but always follow up again with them. I really don't like on a notice of default to say, hey, listen, I know you're losing your home. It's good to go with a softer approach on the phone, and then you follow up with, I see that your home has a notice of default. I specialize in this. I really would love to see what options are available for you. Okay. Now, this is your state eviction. You guys have a CDC moratorium only. You are the FHA and Fannie Mae moratorium. That's going to expire at the end of February. Your state has created a $175 million fund to provide rental and mortgage assistance. Pennsylvania residents can find out assistance and eviction information by contacting the Housing Alliance of Pennsylvania. So I am going to give you guys this link, and I'm going to post it in in the chat so you guys can check it out. But it's really great to become your community expert. And when you become your community expert, it's going to allow you to connect to people in a really big way. So I am going to share this link with you, as well as I'm going to share Black Knight with you so you guys can check out that resource as well. Okay. Trying to get as much content and information to you guys so you can actionably go and work it in your business. Okay. All right. So change lives, learn how to help. Have a servant's heart and open your mind. There's so many possibilities, and we have a lot of lives to impact in 2021. I hope you guys found value. I wanted to leave plenty of time to answer and ask questions, and really give you guys things that you can really walk away and implement into your business right away. All right, you guys got me for 20 minutes. Any you guys questions, anything that you would like me to dive into a little bit more? I would love to be able to be here and help and add value.
Christina, this was great. And I just had a question. How do you build the relationship with the banks? I know that that's been a big thing as far as becoming an REO agent. I know that when banks find the right person that knows their stuff, they go back again and again and again, much like we do with a lender or with another trusted resource. So what recommendations do you have and how to start that process?
So I teach you in week 12 on how to do that. But what I would tell you for now is there are many fundamentals that banks will not hire agents unless you know how to do a BPO, you know how to check official records, you know how to check code enforcement. You really, truly, they don't hire agents anymore that just put a house on the market with cell phone photos. So we do marketing, drone photos, full presentations with them to get in, as well as resumes. But what you could do now is the best way is to look at your community banks, look at the foreclosures that are already listed in your area and see if any of the names resonate. I do show you how to research that and how to put packets together at the end, because you have to learn fundamentals to build up to that. But if you're doing short sales, or you're going to learn how to do short sales, which we teach you the process, but if you say you're already doing them, the loss mitigator is the best foot in the door to the bank. So when you are working on a short sale and that loss mitigator you have a conversation with, they are the absolute best foot in the door, because that loss mitigator is going to, if they have a great experience, you say, I'd love to build a stronger relationship with your bank. I had such a great experience. Thank you so much for helping my client. Is there any way you can refer me to the foreclosure side of your company? And most of them will do that. And right now, a lot of the loss mitigators are bank asset managers, because what happened is a lot of the banks, they realign their asset managers because the decline in the foreclosures I personally keep up with all the asset managers I've worked with over the last 10 years. And a lot of them, they're not super happy right now because they're dealing with the foreclosure and the forbearance and things like that. So many of the loss mitigators, when you're working with a short sale, they're going to go back to the REO side and they're going to remember you if you have a good experience. So, but we definitely teach you all of that. It's really a process, but looking at your area is really important in seeing, because each area is going to have different types of properties. I'd recommend on a national level is to check out HomePath and HUD Home Store and make sure you have you're registered with profiles with your experience, and that's going to be important.
Great, thank you.
All right, guys, any other questions?
Yeah, Christine, I just want to second Scott's opinion. I think this has been fantastic and definitely excited for the opportunity, I think, to look into your course because, that's where one of those areas I think we have so many times agents are saying, hey, how do I find more inventory, right? How do I do more business? How do I become a specialist? And this is one of those areas that I know is not well understood. And as you pointed out, when you look at how many properties exist right now in a lot of those different statuses, that could really change the inventory status for us just within the small area of Harrisburg. And we serve even a far area reaching out beyond that area. So thank you for that. I know we're going to look forward to it. I don't have a specific question, but I'm sure we've got some others there. Adrian's got one for you.
Well, and there's so much opportunity because, guys, something I want you to understand, you may never list a distressed property, but you're going to represent a buyer on a short sale. You're going to represent a buyer on an REO. You may work with an investor. So you need to understand how to really almost think like an REO agent. And I teach you how to do that because you're going to get more offers accepted. And there are so many sources of prospecting people don't even realize are available. So everything that really experienced investors do, we teach you how to do. Most people, and you'll read articles and it's sad, the divorce rates are going up so much. So the divorce filings and bankruptcy filings are going to be massive. So I teach you how to work with all of that. And you're going to be able to, by the end, have a really amazing GPS and know what you're going to do, what resonates most with you, and learn how to be a community expert. So Adrian, you had a question?
Yeah, sure. So you said you've been with KW for 3 years now?
Yes.
So, and you obviously were doing distress sales, foreclosures before you came to KW, correct?
Yes, correct. I'm also in Gary's mastermind group, and I'm a coach with MAPS. I personally started my story with distressed real estate is that small investment firm that I worked with in 2004. 2001 until I left January of 08. And then I went to a very large company. I always say I was part of the downturn of the market because I sold hundreds of properties to investors. I got really great in finding them homes. However, they started to lose their homes because they did hard money loans and option arms. One of my hard money companies reached out to me and said, hey, I need you to start selling all this crap that you put buyers in through it. So I did. And then I joined another company who had an opening in their REO division. And I took an area nobody wanted. And I sold about 200 that first year. So Equator.com, I've sold over 2,000 properties on Equator.com, and I'm on their advisory council. So I'm one of those crazy people that have sold REO the whole time. And what I love about REO, and I'm going to teach you guys how to work with investors too. I like hunting for big fish. I like multiple opportunities. And if you guys are running a team, REO and investment properties and short sales, they create 10 times as many leads and opportunity. But it's really great when you sell somebody 100 homes.
Yeah. So just thank you for that. So why KW? There's a lot of big fish here,
Mhm.
right? There with other companies. So I'm flipping it to a recruiting.
Sure.
There's a lot of REO people here who do big business, and they've been with them for 30 years with another company. Why did you choose Keller Williams? What was the value proposition that we offered for you to bring your business over to us?
Do you know, I didn't even know what this was. I'll be honest with you, in 2014, one of the largest banks that I work with, Bank of America, told me to go to a coaching program that they affiliated with. I walked in, I didn't even know what a CRM was. I was selling hundreds of homes in 2014. I had an assistant in the office that I was part of, a very large company. They used my leads and opportunity to attract agents to their office, and they gave the leads out. Not once did they say get a buyer's agent. Not once did they say create a team. When I wanted a team, they said, no, you don't need one. You're not going to get the awards that you have now. You're going to go to a different level. I was number 2 in the company for, 5 years. When I left, I was number 2 team in the company. The reason I left is I kept continuing to try and out revenue myself out of a bad model. I didn't even know what models were. I'm so coachable, but the prior coaching company I was part of never told me how to set up splits and structure and accountability and have a profitable business. It also helps learning from Gary and MAPS. But for me, I really wanted to learn how to run a big business. I do put faith first. And having a company that my kids can have a legacy through. I'm 3 years in the company, and I get about $5,000 to $6,000 a year right now on profit share. And it's great to be part of something bigger. And that for me was so important. But I will tell you, our company has ListHub Global. Only a few of the bigger companies have it. We syndicate to over 700 websites. Asset managers love that. When you are applying for new companies, they love not the smaller companies, because the syndication, these companies want us to market their properties like premium listings right now. They want open houses, they want social media. So all the bells and whistles has allowed me to get into bigger companies. So it's, and I'll tell you, most REO agents, that only do REO, their business goes down as the market goes down. I did not want that. If I have 100 listings, great. However, I've got 80,000 leads in my database, so you can have the biggest business you want with this company, and people teach you everything. And that for me was the biggest thing. I can pick up a phone and call Lance Loken, which he's a friend now, and say, hey, I need to know how to do this. And he sends me his entire drive of how to do it. So that's why KW for me. It's like being part of a family. It really is. And my business is, I just actually opened an MAO. So we have 1,500 square feet, and we have our own office with a Keller Williams sign on the outside.
Awesome. Congratulations.
I hope that answered your question. And for your recruits, send them, it's on KW Connect, send them my story with Gary. And we go into a lot of the emotional side. I make Gary cry on stage. But we go into the emotional side. And, for me, it's, I believe wholeheartedly in what our company stands for.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Guys, any other questions? I'm an open book. Hopefully you can tell.
I did have one more question, Christina.
Okay.
Thanks so much for what you provided so far. But about you went over the share, I think it's share of sales, like the auction dates and whatnot. Around here, I've seen them on share of sales. So the process there, as far as what 2 options for the seller in that point. So they're behind on their payments. It's set up to go for a short sale. You can go to them and say if the house is worth $180,000 and they owe $150 on it, you could go to them and offer them the $150 and land that house. Like they're able. I guess the question is, are they able to sell it if it's scheduled for auction? Are they still have the right to sell it before that auction themselves?
Absolutely. So up until the moment the auction occurs, they're in full control. They are in full control. So the big thing for them is some of them have given up. You may go to the property and the property is vacant. So finding them and having that conversation with them. Hey, I see you already abandoned the home. It's going up for sale in 2 weeks. I may be able to get you cash for keys through a short sale. I would really love to help you. Many of them will have discussions and conversations with you. If you go to a property and there's a sign in the window, however, it's still in the seller's name, don't worry, because what happens is the banks, when the people are default on their payments, they have people inspect the homes. It's a great way to also find REO. When you see a no trespassing sign in the window, you call them and say that you're an agent in the area and you see this house and wanted to see what asset management company is handling it. They will secure the home if it's been abandoned. However, the biggest thing for you, is understanding options. So if they're living in the home, maybe they have a renter and there's equity. In learning that equity position, you can sell it quickly. And so the big thing is, Mr. Seller, I have an opportunity to be able to help you sell your home, to be able to walk away, to be able to have equity, potential a few $1,000s, and be able to rebound your credit quicker. I'm going to help you find a rental, things like that. And also really great investors are important. So when you're prospecting properties that are getting ready to go up for foreclosure sale date, having a great investor that can come in and do I call it an off-market transaction, where this investor buys it, you get paid your commission. The investor may allow them to stay there a few months. So I teach you how to find those investors, but if you have big investors in your area, the easiest way to work with them is, hey, if I find you an off-market property, are you willing, to work with me? So Tammy, yes, I'll send these slides to your team later. So it's just, again, it's knowing those options. It is going to be really important. I'd also recommend you to reach out to your title or attorney's office. I personally use a short sale negotiator. He works directly for my title company. If your office has a title company, that's something I can teach, on how the most effective through this market is having a third party do the negotiations, or you can create your own big short sale department. So I definitely teach you all the options. I know that was a very long answer, but it's understanding their payoff and understanding where the market supports, and figuring out if there's enough equity. Just be careful listing a property on the open market that only has a few weeks up to the foreclosure sale date. If a buyer backs out on that, that's not a pretty story. It's really making sure you have a buyer with very limited contingencies on a transaction like that. However, you can dictate your own commission on something like that. I've had deals where I put together and you go directly and you have the investor, and you can make 6, 7, 8, 10%. So, and the investor could even pay you.
Great. Thank you, Christina.
You're welcome.
That's a good question, Christina. So in those situations, are you, in order to get a deal done, even in some cases, depending on what the equity position is of the seller, are you looking towards your investors more often than not to kind of compensate for any shortcomings on that commission side? Or do you work agreements with them, or is it just kind of a deal by deal basis?
So, it'll be your state requirements, but the way I look at it is, if you find a for sale by owner and you have the buyer, in our state, we have a commission agreement. Most states that's allowed. So you can dictate that commission. So it could be a matter of you finding out the payoff, what the buyer needs, but having an investor that's going to be able to, okay, the payoff's $100,000, they need $5,000 to move. And my commission is $7,000. You have this much in equity. It's having that great relationship with an investor is going to be important. But what I would tell you is, it's really great. I believe in the investor model, and it doesn't have to necessarily be the end all, but when you have an ability, even on an expired listing, to go to an expired seller and say, okay, here's 2 cash offers. and this is what I can list your house for on the open market, and sell your house, and it's going to take 30 or 60 days, or these two investors have these options and these terms. What works better for you? In so many circumstances, they will say, I don't want to deal with the market, COVID, I don't want people in my house, whatever it is. And we're getting more listings right now from the March to the May expireds, because people went off the market with COVID. So that's a really great place to hit. But giving them those options, and many times they're going to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take the cash offer because it's easier.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Christina, I know we just have a couple of minutes left, but I sold a few short sales back in like 09 and 2010. Do you see this market being markedly different than that, or do you feel that it's going to be pretty much the same?
So,
based on the evictions and stuff.
Okay, so they put regulations to make sure the short sales happen faster. So 08 and 09, the short sales were very different. Now there's platforms that most of the banks and the asset management companies use that you just upload the documents. So short sales are definitely not long sales anymore. They happen in about 2 to 3 weeks. There's a process. It is definitely, and like I've got packets that, you have, and you can get the loss mitigation packet, but it's a simple process now. You list the property, you have an addendum, you have the right terminology for your MLS about splitting the commission 50-50 based upon what's ever approved. Many banks will need 5 to 7 days on the market before they'll entertain an offer. And then you submit the process, but it happens very fast. The biggest thing I want you guys to understand, and what's different from 08 and 09, now that they have processes put in place, they don't want these properties back. They don't want to go through foreclosure. Foreclosure is expensive. They want to find solutions. And the cool thing is, if you get the person hypothetical, say you take 200 homes in your neighborhood and 25% of them could be in forbearance. They don't have to be in default to do a short sale. So if you catch them and you list it and you do a short sale prior to them, their forbearance coming due or them being late on their mortgage, then you can sell them a house quicker and they can rebound quicker. So that's where I'm very big on, we need to be community experts, let everyone know that we know what we're doing and provide solutions. Because, the thing is, get to them before that notice of default happens. They're going to be able to buy a house much quicker. Does that make sense? And my favorite thing right now is with people in forbearance, because they can't buy a house right now if they haven't caught up their forbearance agreement. If they're in forbearance, you sell the home, you put on the MLS that they require a 60-day lease back, because conventional loans will allow that. You do a 60-day lease back, and they get out of it, they pay that forbearance off, and you get to go find them another house. So we need to become solutions makers, and that's what I teach, is to be able to learn how to become a solutions maker in this business. Does that make sense, guys? All right.
Absolutely.
As you can tell, I'm a little passionate about this. I actually, in 5 minutes, I'm jumping on with my entire team to share. We're going through short sales because they're getting so many, and some of the newer agents need to learn it. I'm going to post my link. I really hope you guys join us, and you get me for 12 weeks. And then after the course, you get everything for 90 days after the last video. And then all the Facebook group doesn't come down. But what I do know is your state has a lot of, and you can tell by the amount of foreclosure sale dates in your entire state, there's going to be a massive amount of opportunity. And learning it now and always making it a part of your business. And it could be that you just want to create wealth for yourself. and you want to learn how to buy investment and you want to learn how to flip properties, you know, learning how to create wealth for yourself and your family, you know, the Millionaire Real Estate Investor is amazing, but I teach you how to do that, and you can implement that in your business or with your clients as well. Anything else? I got time
No,
for one more.
thanks again, Christina. This has been fantastic, seriously, and we're very excited to continue to make everybody else that wasn't able to make this call aware of what you offer, and I'm sure that you will have a number of people signing up from our office as a result of this. So thank you again.
Awesome. And something I do want to share with you, any of the REO agents that are on this call, feel free to connect them with me. I'm happy to have a conversation on any of the recruits that may potentially watch this. I am definitely can share and really answer any questions you guys have about our company.
Well, I really appreciate that. I can't think of a better resource to talk to someone who focuses on that than you. So kudos again on all your phenomenal accomplishments. And thank you for being willing to take the time to share with us. I'm sure we'll all be better for it. So.
Absolutely. And guys, sign up for our family reunion, and we will see you soon. And please stay safe. Okay.
Thanks. You too.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.